Okay.
Okay, so we are live, yeah? Okay. Hello everyone. Good morning, America, and good evening, India. So welcome to the second episode of Conversations with Mr. Sam Pitroda. So today we'll be continuing with our topic of Gandhiji's philosophy and how it is important in today's turbulent times. uh, as we could wonder, one could wonder what is the relevance of Gandhiji in today's all materialistic, consumeristic, and a culture where now the world politics is changing and there is a danger of war looming across the world. So, as Gandhiji's philosophy, as Tibetan leader Dalai Lama, he said that the success of Gandhiji's philosophy is that it's not only just for the philosophical understanding, but in the 20th century, where we have produced a sophisticated approach towards technology. Gandhiji's philosophy of ahimsa is relevant to the common man, and hence it will always be uh, prevalent throughout and forever. So, to speak more about this topic, I would like Sam sir to address our audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Premvada. My apology for being a little late, and my apology again for a little bit of a technical glitch in our sound system. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We continue our conversation on relevance of Gandhi. Is Gandhi more relevant today? The clear answer is yes, more than ever before. Gandhi is more relevant today for the world, for the environment, for the people at the bottom of the economic pyramid, for simplicity, for young, and for India. Gandhi is not an old idea. Gandhi is a permanent idea. Gandhi is fundamental idea. Gandhi is a way of life. Gandhi is set of values, character. Today there is a crisis of leadership in the world. We need high moral ground and character, and we see this every day today on TV. What's going on in the global leadership. We also need an alternate model of development for the people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. Economic inequality has increased mainly because we didn't follow Gandhi. But we also know that Gandhi means different things to different people. I have spoken to lots of people about Gandhi in the past, and they all react to one idea of Gandhi. I'll give you one example. About 35 years ago, I was giving, or 30 years ago, I was giving, must be close to 40 years, I'm sorry. I was giving a convocation address at IIM Calcutta. Happened to be the month of October, so Gandhi was on my mind. And in my typical sort of style where I don't pay too much attention to political aspect of the lecture, but I look at things coming from my heart. So I spent some time talking about Gandhi, and at the end I said, as far as I'm concerned, you could be Gandhian and still drink scotch and wear jean. Didn't realize that next morning in all Indian newspaper, item was that Pitrod said Gandhi drank scotch and wore jeans. And there was such a upheaval that hundreds of Gandhians wrote a letter to Prime Minister that Pitrod must apologize. I got a call from Rajiv Gandhi's office. Some joint secretary called saying, "Sir, what is this?" I said, "Look, I'm not going to apologize. I still believe that to be Gandhian, you don't have to wear khadi. You could wear jean. I still believe you could be Gandhian and have a glass of scotch. It all depends on how you see Gandhi. Gandhi doesn't have to be accepted in totality. Gandhi has to be seen as an idea you follow, a way of life you look at. And I think we need to realize that Gandhi will mean different things to different people. Just for an example, Gandhi can be seen operating at 3 different levels. One level could be very much about people. What does Gandhi mean in terms of people? So let me give you my version of it. And again, this is something that I look at in my own way. That when I think of Gandhi at people level, I think of simplicity, not a very flashy life, no show off, no trying to have one-upmanship, humble, with humility, concern for other human being, ability to listen, compassionate, empathy. Second is courage. You gotta have courage to do the right things. You can't really do things because everybody else is proposing to do this. Are we still connected? Hello?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. So you gotta have courage to stand up to the real idea. You gotta have courage to, for example, defend democracy. You gotta have courage to promote truth, non-violence. Then you got to be wedded to truth, trust, and love. These 5 things matter to me at a personal level, at a people level. At a platform level to operate this, I got to believe in democracy. Because democracy is designed to empower every human being. Democracy is designed to give you freedom. Freedom from, at times, family, community, freedom from old dogma, freedom from old belief, freedom for set standards that people want you to follow. And you want freedom for lots of things to be able to do what you want to do. And freedom for empowering you. Living your life the way you want to live. It is your life. Experience things you want to experience. Explore new frontiers. Think beyond boundaries. Move wherever you want to move. So freedom has many, many dimensions. Say you want to say. Write what you want to write. And still be respected. Still be allowed to operate. Today, all these government rules and regulations take freedom away from you. But freedom doesn't mean freedom to kill, freedom to abuse, freedom to lie, to cheat. Freedom has a responsibility. So Gandhi understood that you need democracy on one hand, you need freedom, you need diversity. Recognize that world is diverse. Multiple languages, multiple cultures, multiple customs, multiple way of doing things. And don't judge people based on your version of standards. Don't judge people based on your belief, your religion, your way of life. If you're vegetarian, that's great. But don't judge others if they eat meat. That's their freedom. If they eat fish or they believe in one festival and you believe in another festival. That's what diversity is all about. It is diversity in every walk of life. Diversity has to confront uniformity. We are expecting uniformity. And a lot of these things relate to national idea versus individual freedom. We have organized in such a way that nation is a unit. Family could be a unit. City could be a unit. But we are now structured globally with nation as a unit, and people take great pride in being nationalist. Sometimes it is counterproductive. Third, inclusive. Diversity, or fourth, democracy, freedom, diversity, and inclusion. If you don't follow inclusion, you're really not Gandhian, according to me. You got to include everybody. You got to respect. You got to have dignity in your discourse. You can't just blindly disagree with somebody and start shouting. Gandhi believed that people at the bottom of the economic pyramid are very important. And that's why his whole movement on Harijans, Dalits, minorities. And that's what essentially killed him. Because some people believed that he was giving too much importance to Muslims. No, he was really worried about inclusion. And finally, nonviolence. At the bottom of all of these, you have to respect human life. You have to be nonviolent. And violence in many different forms. I have said many times that violence begins at home. Violence starts in the family, friends, neighborhood, communities, cities, and then at national level. Violence doesn't pay anyone ultimately. We have seen in the history, World War I ultimately had to be settled. World War II, I have seen in my lifetime, Vietnam War, ongoing Arab-Israel conflict, Korean War, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Somalia, Rwanda, genocide, and lots and lots of violence in the world, including our partition time. And violence still goes on. And there is no place for violence in Gandhian way of thinking. Gandhi believed that everything can be settled across the table over a period of time by understanding people, by having conversation. At the planet level, this is the third level. So first one was at personal level, truth, trust, love, courage, and simplicity. At platform level, talked about freedom, democracy, inclusion, diversity, non-violence. But at a planet level, he believed in sustainability, environment. He always talked about need versus want. That is all about consumer-based culture to spend versus sort of be careful about consumption, but focus on conservation. So he talked about, on one hand, environment, on other hand, needs and wants. He always talked about sacrifice. And this sacrifice is at a planet level. We all have to sacrifice. Those who have to sacrifice a little bit to make sure that the people at the bottom of the economic pyramid can be lifted. And with sacrifice has to come service. We got to live to serve others. We live in the family to serve our family. We work for our wife and children and mother and father and cousins and whatever. That is service. But can we extend that service beyond a small family to community, neighborhood, city, nation, and ultimately planet? And his focus on lifting people, holding hands and pulling them out of poverty was the key. So to me, Gandhi worked at three different levels. He understood team building. He had a strong self. Many young people ask me, especially those who have finished their MBA, what should I do? Where should I focus? And I always tell them that I don't have advice for you, but I can tell you from my own experience. I have benefited from building a strong self, a self that doesn't get affected by what other people think, a self that is grounded in fundamentals. You can't insult me because I'm not prepared to be insulted. If somebody says something about me, I feel sorry for the person, that someday he'll figure out what I am and who I am. It's okay for him to criticize me. I have no anger for that. I feel sorry for his ignorance. And to build a strong self is very difficult. A self that is respectful, self that is not fragile. I find that people are ready to be hurt. I saw the debate yesterday, or not debate, but the discussion between President Trump and President Zelensky. And it was really a drama of self. Someone who is trying to show off that I am stronger and you are weaker. And it is always the responsibility of the stronger person to tone down to make sure that the weaker is more comfortable. So building strong self requires a lot of discipline. It requires understanding of other person. It requires ability to listen carefully and put yourself in the other person's shoes. I've learned in life a great lesson that listening is so very fundamental. People don't listen. And if they listen, they don't hear the message because they have this preconceived idea of what is right, what is wrong, what is fair, what is unfair. but they don't see it from the other person's perspective. And if you listen, you will change your opinion. And if you change your opinion, you'll make friends and not enemies. So Gandhi was full of strong self. Gandhi had no problem going to meet leaders in England in his dhoti without a shirt. He was not concerned about how he would look, what dress he would wear, what sort of, suit or tie he would put on. He didn't care because he had very strong self. He could eat yogurt from his dabbi in front of Viceroy of India. And he wasn't ashamed. He didn't need a plate. He didn't need anything. He was a modern man. He looked ancient, but he was a modern man with great understanding of the world. He was, to me, a model of the 21st century leadership. One who could lead with moral, ethics, purpose, and priority. He had character and he had clarity. Somebody's calling. He had ability to internalize issues before acting on it. And that's a very interesting way of dealing with challenges. You internalize issues before you act. He could operate at multiple levels. He was a strategic thinker. He had a clear roadmap. He had respect for work and labor. Where are the leaders like this today? He was a man of information age, way ahead of his time. He was open, he was accessible, he was connected, he was networked. He believed in decentralization, social transformation. He was a model of leadership for the 21st century. He didn't believe in command and control. He believed in communication, compassion, cooperation, co-creation, collaboration. He had a very clear mind. Discipline, ability to synthesize, creative, respectful, ethical, and global. He was also the greatest communicator ever lived. He could pick up a pinch of salt and galvanize a nation. His song, Vaishnavajan to Tenere Kaiye, summarizes his entire way of life. He would pray, he would milk goat, he would weave charkha, wear dhoti, have a clean desk, eat vegetarian food, and his life was his message. It was loud and clear that the way he lived is the way he acted. I have too many calls coming in between, I'm sorry. And he was an innovator because he experimented with truth. He was not afraid to fail. He was focused on social innovations. He mobilized resources. He solved problems. And to me, Gandhi is definitely more relevant today than ever before. Each of these things require deep understanding, long conversations to internalize. Gandhi is the evergreen idea. Gandhi is a way of life. Gandhi was not just a normal human being. Einstein said it, that no one would believe that a man like this ever walked on this planet. I wish the Western world had learned Gandhian lessons early enough. then we won't have all these conflicts. We have a lot of these conflicts because Western world is still focused on power and profit, trade war, military machine. It's all about power and profit. If Western mindset shifts from power and profit to planet and people, we'll have a different world. We don't have today a great leader in the South who commands respect of the non-Western countries to bring everybody together like Mandela could have done in recent times. And as a result, there is a big vacuum because leadership is not about oratory. Leadership is about character. And what we have today is people who just are fake. People who have very little commitment to planet and people. They may show off their hypocrisy, and at the end, they don't work in the interest of the people and planet. And that's why I believe Gandhi is more important today than ever before. Thank you. We can open up for a broader conversation and we can talk on and on. One of these days, I'm going to bring few of my close Gandhian experts, friends, like Sudarshan Bhai Iyengar, who was Vice Chancellor of the Gujarat Vidyapit. And he has spoken to IIT students at length about Gandhi. We can also request Ilaben Gandhi, Gandhiji's granddaughter, who lives in South Africa and manages Gandhi Ashram in Durban. I can talk to Ilaben and see Ilaben could come and join us. So we will do some of that later on, but I want to hear now you all, your questions. And I want all of us to think about Gandhi inside us. We all have Gandhi inside us. We have to just kindle, we have to bring it out. At the end of the day, everybody is a good human being. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to live in peace and quiet. And once we bring Gandhi inside us, once we bring Gandhi into our mind and heart and way of life, not only we will change, but our surrounding will also change. Thank you. Go ahead, Priyambada.
Yeah, thank you, sir. There are comments on YouTube and LinkedIn. I'll just read out one comment from Perry Kannan. He's saying Gandhiji learned those values looking at farmers. He removed his regular clothes and wore dhoti for his life. He did not even bend his integrity to anyone. He met with the queen in dhoti. So regarding yesterday's, the conversation with uh, Zelensky and one of the US reporters saying, "Why are you not wearing a suit?" What do you have to say about the principles and characters of today's leaders? And Trump just listening, and it was just a squabble in front of the whole world. So, what do you have to say about this?
Well, the person who asked the question about suit basically said that I want everybody in suits. That's my standard, which is okay. But don't expect everybody to follow that standard. You can wear suit. But if Zelensky wants to wear what he's wearing to represent in his own way war that is going on is in his country, respect that. I think the problem starts when we expect other people to act the way we want, without understanding why are they doing what they are doing, and give them the flexibility and freedom. So I think it is important to accept accept people the way they are and work with them. He was there to explore peace. To many, he was humiliated. He was sort of undermined. He also could have done a little better by just keeping quiet and listening to all kinds of stuff and not react at all. But that required a lot of inner strength. Gandhi wouldn't have reacted the way he reacted. Gandhi would have just sat there quietly for president and vice president to attack. And at the end, Gandhi would have said, I hear you. Let me tell you my view. And then we can explore the roadmap after this meeting and not in front of everybody here or something like that. Okay. But it just went into tutu meme. And that was not proper. Okay.
Thank you, sir. There's a comment from Suman. She's saying we need to promote Gandhian values and norms globally, especially non-violence for building peace at a diplomatic level. So, why do you think the world is ignoring, the principles of Gandhiji of non-violence and peace? And why do you think there is a rise in authoritarian power everywhere? Like even we see in India, now in the US, Russia is famous for that. So, what do you think is lacking with these world leaders? Why they are unable to understand the importance of peace and world peace, basically? And thank you.
It's not that they don't understand. I think they understand it well. It's not a problem of understanding. It's a problem of accepting. Well, if you are focused on power and profit, you want to build military machine. You want to build fear, hate, because that will keep the system going. And then there'll be increased defense funding. People will get business. Taxpayers' money would be spent on military machine and not on real development of education, health, and many other things. And this is the world we have created. And we will have to ultimately get to a point where people in the world speak up saying, hey, we don't support this. Today, in democracy, people don't speak up because they are afraid. They don't have the courage to speak up, because if you speak, you'll be in trouble. Yeah. They'll fire you. They'll harass you. And you don't want to get into that. So it's better that you don't speak. And that's what is going on in the world. So authoritarian leaders feel comfortable that if I create a little bit of fear and terror, nobody will speak against me, because I'll put some people who are against me in jail, harass them, with all kinds of false allegations, and people will get the message that it's not worth worrying about opposing anything. And that's what's going on. Okay.
Thank you, sir. There is a question from Swati. Swati, which is in our team. So she's saying today's generation is running after money. Gandhiji had so little and still made himself hugely relevant. How can we do our bit? How do we give out to the society and not make it so much about money?
I think each one of us who is really interested in changing the world will have to think more like Gandhi. We'll have to think more about simplicity. Of course, we need our basic requirements met. We need food, shelter, little bit of clothing, not too much of anything. But we need to also clean up our mind and clean up our heart. Our mind is full of hate, full of wrong information. It needs total cleanup. It needs cleanup to focus on truth, trust, love, all the things that Gandhi talked about. Okay. And it has to come automatically. Okay. If we change, our friends will change, our neighbors will change, our community will change. But if they see you walking around with Louis Vuitton purse which costs $14,000, then I think a lot of people would want that too. Okay. And then we'll be after consumption and not conservation. So all we can do on our own level is to live a life as our message. I'm sorry to say this, but I never go shopping. Never. My wife buys everything for me. If I have a hole in my socks, she would say, okay, it's time to buy new socks. I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. Okay. So it depends on what we believe in. And there's a degree to it. Somebody would say, look, having 10 ties is good enough. I'll give you one simple example. I may have given it earlier, but let me try again. A friend of mine went to India after 10 years. This was in 70s. And he thought he should take a gift for his father. So he didn't know what to take for his father, who was a simple village man. So he decided to take a very nice, fancy, white cotton shirt. So he goes home after 10 years and meets his father, and father is happy in the village that son has come back. And he says, Dad, I have a gift for you. So he says, son, I don't need a gift from my son. You are my gift. He said, no. I thought about it a great deal, and it's very simple. I know you're a simple man. So he says, here is the shirt. Dad looks at it, and Dad says, look, son, I'm wearing one. I have one clean one lying, and one is in the washing with your mother. So he said, I have 3 shirts. Why do I need 4th one? But he says, your uncle doesn't have good shirt. Give it to him. Very simple example. The ability to cap his deeds, share with somebody else. How many people can do that? Old person in a village can do it. But a rich guy or a fancy guy would say, why did you get only one shirt? I like blue color. That's the kind of life we need to celebrate. So I think we all can do a lot more than we are doing today. Talking about it, living the Gandhian way of thinking, stopping violence in the family, in the community. And a lot can be done. Thank you, Swati.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Josefa. He's a member of IOC.
Yes, I know Josefa.
Yeah. So he's saying to internalize the Gandhi, besides listening to Gandhians as you and others to follow, there is a bigger role played by each individual's self-personal development. What would you suggest?
I think the key is to really develop self, which is respectful, discipline, analytical, moral, ethical, which is grounded in reality. And no one teaches this. Believe me, there is no good course on self. There is a course on leadership. Business schools teach competitiveness, strategies, how to win. Nobody teaches how to build a good self. And it takes a long time to build good self. We all lucked out because we were in a different era. And we went to a Gandhian boarding school in 1950. And that really created some kind of roots that we didn't even realize for us to live a different kind of lifestyle. Okay. And it's hard for even my children to understand it, believe me. Okay. Why do we do these things? Because that's the way we thought things should be done. Okay. This was just after independence. There was a great sort of mood of excitement in India that now we are an independent nation, we can do things. And my father thought, oh my God, liberty and freedom means so much for my children and my, future generation. And everyone felt excited about decolonization, that we are no longer a colony. And Gandhi was shot, unfortunately, in 48, so there was still Gandhian fervor all over. And in schools, our teachers were Gandhian. They wore khadi, they wore dhoti. They were simple, very simple people. Their salary was 150 rupees at that time, or 100 rupees in 1950s. Okay. This was salary of a teacher. But they were unbelievable teachers. I tell you, I remember my music teacher, my PT teacher, my, art teacher and all. Oh my God, they were just tremendous human beings. Loving children, not maneuvering, not lying, living a very simple life right on the campus in 2-room with their family. And that really created the mold. And we didn't realize that this is going to drive you for the rest of your life. We had no idea. That's what it turned out to be. So as we grew up, we decided what is right and wrong based on those standards automatically, knowingly or unknowingly. Yeah. And that helped.
Thank you, sir. There's a question from Siddharth Sinha. He's a member of IOC China. So he's saying...
Hi, Siddharth. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he's saying leadership is not just about oratory, but in building a harmonious society in today's In today's India, we find ourselves embroiled in communal hatred. How can we change this?
Each one of us will have to change. Okay, we can't change the leaders overnight. Okay, you're not going to change people in BJP party. Okay, you have to speak up. And not enough people speak up because they are afraid. Business people don't speak up because their business will get affected. So one group of leaders are silence. Teachers and professionals don't speak up, but their job is at stake. They'll be fired. Students don't speak up because they'll get hurt in school. Okay. So at the end, there is no courage to speak up. And when there is no courage, message doesn't get across. So those who are in position of power, those who are interested in dividing society, promoting hate, promoting lies, continue. And media joins them. Media celebrates because they make money out of it. I know what I'm going through recently with all these bakwas and lies and, whether I gave talk at IIT or not. I mean, can you believe that the event that was public, people are denying that it ever took place. Okay. It's on Zoom. It's everywhere. It's on my email. Okay. And now you turn around and say, it never happened. And there is a limit. And the press just goes banging and banging, saying, Pitrod is lying. What? Lying for what? In 83, I don't have to lie. But that's a personal story. Some other time we can talk. But you are right, Siddharth, that leadership is not about oratory. An oratory that lies. If oratory that promotes truth and certain values which are universal, it'll be great. If oratory promotes equality, justice, freedom, free press, it'll be great. The problem is oratory is fake. It lies to the teeth. They're very comfortable. They're pathological liars in many ways. And they're comfortable. More power to them. What can I say? Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Just one more comment from Andre Sheldon. He's saying the children are the motivation to unite the people of the world. Adding to that, I would say that, sir, what do you think with the RSS and BJP trying to change the syllabus, trying to change history, and trying to defame Gandhian principles? Basically, they're just trying to, hide whatever Gandhiji has taught into hate and everything. So, what do you think? How can we teach the future of India to keep alive Gandhian philosophy in today's world? Like how will children play? Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you, Andres Sheldon. I agree with you that the children are the motivation to unite the people of the world. But who is listening to children? Are children treated properly? Are children given the right values and lessons? Or children are also indoctrinated into hate, religious bigotry, and false values? We can't leave this to government. We have to, as a community, parents, take charge of it. And we have to really create values. Doesn't matter what is in the textbook. Of course, it is important to have right things in the textbook. But a lot of these things begin at home, with friends, family, parents, local teachers, local neighborhood. If a neighborhood and a community and a street believes in non-violence, there will not be violence on that street. And that's where courage comes in. We do not have local governance. We have national governance and state level governance. We need governance at local level. We don't have district level governance. We have district level administration, which is very different. They're all bureaucrats. Where is district level political leadership? You have panchayat, and then you have state. And that middle level is completely missing. District level leadership. Power of a mayor. What is mayor in India? Nothing. Mayor in America is very powerful because the governance is at local level. And going back to the children, yes, children are very important. But again, are we talking about 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 15-year-old, 21-year-old? And how do we organize them? Die is casted mostly by the time you are 10-year-old. That's my observation. Then the modulation is very little. Okay. But die is casted very early in life. And we need to be careful at the family level to make sure that the die is properly casted. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There is a comment from Bhupendra Sharma. He's saying that the Vishwakarma community in Bihar, like they're facing a lot of abuse and harassment, and he wants something from your side to just like address this issue, maybe, or so. So he's saying,
I don't know how to address it, but I am a Vishwakarma.
Yeah, I think
I am a Vishwakarma. I am a proud son of carpenter, and we all have to fight for our rights. Not just Vishwakarmas, everybody. Dalits have to fight. Tribals have to fight, and that's the fight Rahul Gandhi has emphasized. This whole business of bhagidari is all about saying, hey, other people are talented. They need piece of the pie. When 10% of the people, so-called high caste people, control 90% of the jobs in government, universities, scientific laboratories, judiciary, there is something wrong. It's not about efficiency or talent or whatever. It's about sharing the power. And that's what democracy is all about. I never thought that I'm son of a carpenter. I just thought that I'm a proud Indian. Okay. And I'm a proud global citizen. And I have a job to do. Okay. I never went back and said, oh, I'm a Vishwakarma and I must only worry about Vishwakarma caste. No. Of course I should worry about it. But I got to go beyond that. Okay. So it is up to the people. We tend to blame everybody else except ourselves. The problem always lies here and not there. Our system is such that we look for problems outside. I always say, I am the problem. I must change. You are not a problem. We tend to do exactly opposite. That we are being harassed. We are not given our due course. Okay, we don't get respect. Okay. I think we need to turn that around. Saying, what is that we need to do to organize ourselves? If you don't organize, you don't have collective voice. Okay.
Thank you, sir. That was a very enriching conversation we had today about Gandhian principles. And I think, as Gandhiji rightly said, an eye for an eye will make the world blind. So I think the world needs to follow this philosophy to the T now and make sure they prioritize on world peace rather than, capturing and encroaching different countries and making the world a very non-viable place to live in, especially for the future of our children. So thank you, sir, and hope we continue to have these conversations. We'll meet next week with another topic, and we'll see you there.
I want to, Premvada, if you give me a minute, I want to ask people, is this useful? Is this worth it, their time and effort? Is this something helpful to them?
Yeah. I think maybe we should do a poll or something on YouTube or somewhere, where we get the people reaction, like, yeah. So that, but I think it is a useful.
Let us ask 10, 15 people
Yeah.
Okay, and see what we can do to improve it. When did we go wrong or whatever? I'm willing to listen. Okay.
So here you have the verdict, like
Thank
people
you.
are saying.
Thank you,
so I think yes, because just sorry to interrupt. It's just that when you are we were on break for 2 weeks. I got like personal messages saying like, why is the show not on, like, going on? So I think, sir, it is useful,
Thank
and
you.
I think we should continue.
Thank you. Thank you. And my apology for today's voice problem, but we'll fix it next time. Okay?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
everybody. Wish you a very good week.
Yeah.
Enjoy and think about Gandhi.
Yes, sir.
In each one of you, there is Gandhi. Just bring it out. Okay? Thanks, Siddharth. Thanks, Maharaj. Azela, thank you. Thank you, my dear. Hi, Bhupendraji. Thank you. So kind of you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks,